Hi guys, welcome back to Mums and Reptiles. Hi, if you're new, my name's Sarah and I do everything from lifestyle, mum content with a sprinkle of reptile. So today we are doing breastfeeding must-haves. A little bit of a backstory for me. I have two children. My son Jasper is 3, he turns 4 in November, and my daughter Amelia is 1, turning 2 in August. So I did have my babies 21 months apart. I found out I was pregnant the year Jasper turned 1. I think it was like a week before Christmas. So I did breastfeed both of my babies, but both journeys were very different. So yeah, I've got a bunch of recommendations if you choose to breastfeed your baby. Let me just put this out there, a little disclaimer. I don't care how you feed your baby, as long as your baby is fed and happy and healthy, and so is mum. Mums, you're important too. So yeah, let's get started. So my first recommendation is a good breastfeeding pillow. So I have this one. It does strap around. Here, let me show you. It's got this strap, so you can strap it around you like this and have baby, and it just takes a lot of that pressure off your back. It does have a pocket and you can take the cover off and wash it as well. I prefer this one over, let me show you, over something like this. It didn't really do it for me. It was always shifting and I couldn't get a good hold on baby. So yeah, I do recommend something like my breast friend over something like this, just because it does strap around and it's more secure, and the pillow is a bit stiffer as well, so you get a bit more support. So yeah, I do recommend that over that. I'm sure you can get cheaper dupes on Amazon and over the internet as well. This one did cost me roughly $50 Australian, and then the other one's from Kmart and super cheap. So yeah. Next up we have nipple shields. Now with my son, I have 2 packs. So with my son, I used the Medela for 7 months of our breastfeeding journey. I did stop breastfeeding at 13 months just because I was pregnant with my daughter and I didn't want to risk anything, and he was well and truly ready to get off milk at that point anyway, which was very odd. Yeah, so so this is what they look like. Don't worry guys, they're clean. So I prefer the Medela ones over the Advent ones. So I've also got Advent. Oh, that's funny. Hold on, are these the Advent ones? No, these are also Medela as well. That's odd. Ah, okay. So these ones are the Advent. And with the Advent, I find that they're wider, where the Medela tend to be a little bit more pointy and a little bit more thin. What have I done here? So the one I showed you before, this one's actually the Medela. So it cups your boob. Let me see if I can show you. Yeah, so you've got a piece missing there, and that will be where baby's chin will latch. So you kind of put it on like that, and then you breastfeed the baby that way. But yeah, my daughter would not take these at all, which sucked because I found the full 16 months of breastfeeding her extremely painful. I do have something called vasospasm. Google it. It will give you a much better description on what I can. But yeah, I recommend nipple shields, even if it's just for the first few days or when you have nipple damage. Yeah, so I found those really helpful. But yeah, like I said, some babies don't take it. and other babies like my son love it. And they're pretty easy to wean off. I can do another video on that if you guys like. Next up, a nipple balm. I did use the Lancino one. There are many others. But yeah, I found the Lancino ones really, really good as well. Actually, more than nipple butter or cream, they are called hydrogel discs. I will insert a photo here somewhere for you. I don't have any left because they are phenomenal. They are a disc. It's kind of like a silicone jelly material. Pop them in the fridge and you pop them on your nipples. I cannot recommend these things more. They are amazing, especially in the first few weeks of breastfeeding. They help so much with the pain. And I don't know if there's a magical woman out there who doesn't have any pain when she's breastfeeding, but I did both times. These things are phenomenal. You can use these with breastfeeding, what are these called? A breast pad. So you put your breast pad in and then have them on, and you can use them for 24 hours. And they're like $9. You can get them from Woolworths. I actually think they're cheaper than that. Yeah, they are amazing. I will pop some info up for you and link them down below with everything else as well. But I cannot recommend these things enough. If you get one thing out of this breastfeeding must-haves, get those. They are amazing. Even if you don't end up breastfeeding, use those. Alright, so next up, I will go with these. So these are the milk catchers. These are the Medela ones. I always put them inside the side I wasn't breastfeeding on. They're a little bit better than the Hako because they don't actually suction. But yeah, so you pop them in your bra when you're not breastfeeding. And I prefer the Medela one just because they don't give you an odd shape. You can wear them when you go out as well. So yeah, but you've just got to be careful because there is a breathable like bit at the top where you can tip the milk out if need be. But yeah, they do help air dry your nips as well. So amazing. I do really recommend these. I was using these for at least the first 6 months, so they're really good as well. All right, next up, what do we have? And shit, I just spilled coffee on my bed. Well done, Sarah. Alrighty, so next up we will talk about breast pumps. So I do recommend a breast pump, especially in the early days. I know some lactation consultants will say not to, but I found it really helpful to store the transitional milk, so the milk that is kind of yellowy just after the colostrum. So I found that really helpful. When the kids got sick, I would give them that and it was great. Like, it honestly the best antibiotic, well, probiotic, the best sort of medication you can give them other than actually giving them medication. So I have 3 different pumps here. Let me just find, where is it? Oh, I've lost it. Right there in front of me. Alright, so I highly recommend the Medela Freestyle for just general pumping use. It's pretty good. It's Bluetooth and you can like charge it and then just carry it around, but it does have tubes and it connects to the headpiece like this. This is really good. I found it removed the milk really well, especially in the early days. If you're pumping to give baby a bottle or an exclusive pumper, I actually do really recommend these. I found it really helpful. I originally had the Tommy Teepee generic one. That was horrendous. Here in Australia, you can hire the hospital grade pump for a few days from the hospital, and then you can go through Baby Higher and get them. So that the Medela, I think it's the Symphony or Harmony, it's one of the two. That is also amazing. So if you can get your hands on something like that, do that, especially over this. But yeah, this, general speaking, this is pretty good. So with my son, I did end up going back to work 6 months after he was born, and I ended up getting a wearable pump. This one was like $100 from eBay. It's kind of like the Mum Cozy, I believe. Love this. This thing has lasted me 2 babies, and I spent $100 on it. Yeah, it's super easy. You can pull out that, it's got like 4 or 5 parts. Amazing, love it, dishwasher safe. Yeah, so that's pretty good in terms of general use as well. It's pretty on par with the Medela Freestyle. But yeah, so I just loved that because I could, especially when I had my second baby, I could pump, hold my screaming, clingy baby, which she is still very clingy, and attend to my toddler. So recommend that. Now, in the first few days, when I always have an oversupply for the first couple of months, I found a manual pump. Phenomenal. I found that I could get a lot more milk out a lot quicker. So out of all the pumps, I recommend a manual over the 3 that I have. Yeah, you can just get out so much milk, so much more milk, and you can really adjust it, like the pumping pressure and how fast you pump to cater to your needs. It's just so versatile. I highly recommend it. So if you're going to get one of these pumps, get the manual one. This one is a Medela hand pump. Love it. Super easy to clean. It's all dishwasher safe. I can't remember how much it is. I will pop everything down in the link below. But yeah, so recommend this so much. Next up, what else do I have in my little goodie bag of breastfeeding shite? Obviously breastfeeding, well, breast milk storage bags. I didn't really care which ones I used. I used the Medela. These ones are the Whispers baby. I also used the Tommy TP ones. They were okay. A milk storage bag is a milk storage bag to me, but I do recommend getting them if you're gonna store colostrum or your transitional milk or milk in general. Highly recommend. What else? I think, oh, okay. So if you're like me and you have an oversupply, especially in the few days, my boobs were so engorged and it was so painful and I couldn't sleep, and that was all I could think about. If you don't want to pump to relieve it, you could use one of these. This is kind of like a Hucker dupe. It's just the Tommy TP silicone pump, and then you just like suction it on your boob and your milk will come out. I did find that helpful just to get a bit of relief, so I wasn't constantly giving myself an oversupply. So I found that helpful with my son, but with my daughter it was a very different story. So with my daughter, when she was born, she ended up getting really bad jaundice, and we ended up having to go back into the hospital a few times. So they didn't want me to hold her or do anything with her. They just wanted me to pump and give her bottles while she's laying under the lights. She did have light therapy. Her jaundice was that bad that they actually wanted to give her a blood transfusion, but they ended up not doing that, thank God, just because she ended up getting, what'd she do? She ended up sorting it out herself anyway. Yeah, she was pooping every 2 seconds, which I can go into a full story in another video if you guys want. But yeah, so I didn't end up using this with my daughter. I ended up pumping and then had a huge oversupply for 8 months. It was horrendous. So yeah. Alright, so that's about it for my breastfeeding recommendations. But yeah, if you take anything out of this, I highly recommend the Hydrogel discs. They are definitely by far the best thing that I've used. Yeah, so if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. Other than that, thanks for watching, guys.